I want to talk to you today about some of the science around gratitude. You know, the word gratitude itself comes from the Latin gratia, which means gratefulness or thankfulness. Now, in this video, I want to keep it relatively short, so I'm going to focus mostly on the research that shows the positive impact of gratitude on mental health. Now, there's other research that shows some of the physical health effects of gratitude, but maybe I'll do that in a separate video. So just to keep this short, I'll focus just on the impact of gratitude on mental health. Now, some of the really best studies, I think the coolest for the way they easily describe how gratitude works is when researchers asked people to focus on things that they're grateful for or things that bug them, things that their hassles, their frustrations, their annoyances. It was called blessings versus burdens. And in one version of the study, they did this every day for 3 weeks. The other version of the study, they did it once a week for 10 weeks, but the results were the same in both cases. Those who focused on things that they were grateful for, they counted their blessings, had become happier as a consequence. Those who'd focused on their hassles, their annoyances, their frustrations, had actually become less happy as a consequence. Doing nothing at all keeps you there. But here's the whole amazing bit of the study. Doing nothing at all keeps you there. But focusing on things that you're grateful for actually makes you happier. But focusing on things that annoy you actually make you less happy. In other words, they make you less happy. So the real power in this study was showing that what you put your attention on can directly impact how you feel. And in particular, if you point your mind in the direction of things that you're grateful for, people, events, circumstances that you're grateful for, you can actually become happier as a consequence. Now, this goes beyond just the kind of feelings, the emotional feelings boost that we get. Gratitude practices actually have long-term physical impacts on brain networks. Now, gratitude in particular can strengthen neural circuits associated with positive emotion. And what that means is it's like building a muscle. You know, if you go to the gym and you work out a muscle, the muscle becomes stronger. So something similar happens in the brain when we strengthen these neural circuits in regions associated with positive emotion. And as I say, what that means, if that muscle's stronger, it means positive emotions, positive mood states become more accessible to us. It doesn't mean if you practice gratitude, your life will be great, you'll always be happy. But what it does mean is if these regions of the brain have more power, then it makes it easier to extract out of the everyday moments of our life stuff that makes us feel better, focuses that make us feel better. It makes it easier to extract positive mood from the everyday events of our lives. Now some other research shows that these effects can be actually very long lasting. MRI studies even found on a 3-month follow-up in people who'd written gratitude letters. That's where you write a letter of thanks. It might be to a person, it might be to God, the universe, doesn't really matter. It had these physical brain changes even 3 months after having done the gratitude exercises. Now the effects go even to relaxing the nervous system. Gratitude actually has a relaxing effect on the nervous system that therefore allows the body's systems to work more optimally, which is actually why some research suggests gratitude can even help to lower blood pressure and support immune function. In the latter, research has actually proposed that gratitude impacts the threat system of the brain and helps to calm the threat system of the brain. And what that knock-on effect is it reduces the inflammatory response to stress. That's how our body, inflammation is generated in the body and as a response to stress. So if there's a calming effect on that therefore seems to affect a range of different physical symptoms. Some studies say even reductions in pain, reductions in headaches, nausea, muscle aches, all these sorts of things. So gratitude really has tremendously powerful effects. So how do you tap into it? Well, it really is about building a habit. One of the best habits I think you could ever get into is before you literally get out of bed in the morning, spend like a minute, even 30 seconds, Just thinking of a handful of things that you're grateful for. Maybe it's things that are grateful for in your life or that have happened in the last day or the last week. You could think of people, circumstances, the weather, the universe. It doesn't really matter, but just point your mind in a direction that makes you feel gratitude, and get in the habit of doing it literally before you get out of bed in the morning, or even last thing at night. People that do that have actually been found in some research to get a better night's sleep and even drop off to sleep a little bit faster. And partly because of that is we're getting rid of the ruminating thoughts that often plague our minds late at night, and replacing them with kind of calmer, more positive looking, grateful feelings, grateful thinking, grateful thoughts. So I would suggest trying that as an exercise about building the habit. Personally, I find it really useful to do it first thing in the morning, but as I say, last thing at night is also really, really useful. The key is to create a habit of gratitude, and that's exactly what the studies showed. When people boosted happiness, was they were listing a handful of things that they were grateful for, and literally once a day or once a week. But the key thing is the habit. Now, another exercise you could try is writing a gratitude letter, and that's what some of the research is focused on. When you actually write a letter, maybe it's to a person. It could be the person who's alive, maybe even a person who's deceased, something you'd like to say to them, to express thankfulness for what they meant to you, what they contributed to your life. Maybe after it you could burn the letter, or just something to pass it up to the universe, or something else like that. Or if it's a person still here, you could write a letter and even hand it to them. One piece of research found that the happiness inducing effects were even stronger when you literally read it to the person. But you don't have to if you feel quite self-conscious about that. You can just write it and then keep it to yourself. It's the act of doing it itself is really powerful. Another really cool exercise is a gratitude jar, where you can involve the whole family or the whole household. And what to do is leave a pen and paper beside a big jar, and encourage everyone that whenever you feel grateful for something that happened, or something in general, or about something that someone in the household did, or something that happened at work, write it down, fold a bit of paper, put it in the jar, and then once a year the whole family or household get together. Maybe it's on Thanksgiving, or it's in Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, or it's the end of the year, or a birthday, or another meaningful day, and you open all the pieces of paper and read through all the gratitudes. And particularly when you're reading something that's someone else in the family or household were grateful to you for something, people have told me that when they've tried this, that it's literally been unbelievably emotional and bonding. So fantastically powerful exercise. So have a go at least one of these gratitude exercises. The key is to build a habit, and that's what produces the long-term brain changes and the long-term boost to our mental health. So let me leave you with one tiny little parting thought. Try to think of life as a gift, not a given. And maybe if you just allow that thought to float about in your mind, it can start to replace this need for more with maybe the profound realization that this moment, right here, right now, everything that's right about me, that's with me right now, I have everything I need to be completely whole.